What is good? What is bracket with you? I am the DJC, aka the Don Juan Carlos, and we're here for some more Warmind Cells. In today's episode, in today's part of this series, I should say, we're actually taking on the new Warmind Cell mods that got released with the introduction of the new bunker of Isle that just got released on March 24th. Yay! That was a few days ago. So in this episode, we're just gonna go into all the new mods that are available. There's 5 new mods, 3 for Arc, 1 for Void, and 1 for Solar. And with that being said, let's just jump right into it. So let's get started. We're gonna, as per usual, just like in the last video, we're gonna go in order. We're gonna start from Arc, Void, and then finish off in Solar. So for the Arc mods, there are 3 Arc mods in total. The first Arc mod available right now is Blessing of Rasputin. Now, Blessing of Rasputin's effect is collecting a Warmind Cell increases the chance of your next final blow with a Seraph weapon. So I was putting together 7th and Seraph together. A 7th Seraph weapon to create a Warmind Cell. Now, Blessing of Rasputin, while it does increase your next chance to spawn a Warmind Cell, it's not really that noticeable. So for me, using this mod isn't really like all that great. So the next part of the next Arc mod that we have available is Strength of Rasputin. Collecting a Warmind Cell grants you melee energy. Now, Strength of Rasputin gives you about 50% of your melee back once you collect the Warmind Cell, and if you're running a melee build, that's great, but if not, 50% of your melee isn't really going to affect you that much. And last but not least, we have Sheltering Energy. Now, what Sheltering Energy does is collecting a Warmind Cell grants you an overshield. Now, it doesn't actually grant you like an overshield immediately. It's actually 20 seconds of an overshield buff, and I'm assuming that as you take damage, or if you take damage, it regens, but over 20 seconds, you have an overshield just regenning. Alright, now we're moving on to Void. So for Void, the only Arc mod that's available right now, I said the only Arc mod, the only mod that's available for Void right now is called Power of Rasputin. So you gain bonus weapon damage against enemies that are near Warmind Cells. And I'll be honest with you, Power of Rasputin is pretty top notch. So here's how Power of Rasputin works, right? Power of Rasputin, as long as the enemy is near a Warmind Cell, every enemy takes 10% extra damage, and the body shots become modified, like crit damage and headshots get increased by 10% as well. So how the 10% extra damage works is it's a 10% modifier at the end of all of your buffs and damage. So after Empowering Rift, after Hone the Edge, after Rampage, that's what the 10% is modified on. And that includes Power of Rasputin includes weapon bonus damage to all weapons. So Recluse, what am I thinking of? Recluse, Whisper, Huckleberry. I did a lot of testing on this, and it's really noticeable. It's one of the best parts about this mod is that you don't have to generate the Warmind cell itself. As long as you have this mod equipped, any Warmind cell that gets spawned either by you or an ally, you gain the 10% bonus damage, which is, oh my goodness, amazing. And last but not least, we have our last final Solar mod, which is Wrath of Rasputin. That's a mouthful to say, Wrath of Rasputin. Alright, so what Wrath of Rasputin does is Solar Splash damage final blows has the chance to create a Warmind Cell. And I think just like with, from my testing, what I've seen is just like from using a 7th Seraph weapon, so every 5 you get a Warmind Cell. It's the same with Wrath of Rasputin. If you kill 5 enemies, it's almost guaranteed to spawn a Warmind Cell. I didn't calc what the percentage, but from my experimentation, it is about 20%. So we're just gonna jump right into it so I can show you what it. Alright, and last but not least, just like in the last video that we did on this, we're actually going to do the tier list, but I'm actually going to make it a separate segment so that if you want to see what tiers I think these mods are, you can just skip right to it. So, we're going to start like we did before, in order, Arc, Void, and Solar. So for Arc, we got Blessing of Rasputin, which is honestly a B tier. Now, the Blessing of Rasputin, when you pick up the Warmind Cell, has a your next kill with a 7th Seraph weapon has a chance to spawn a new Warmind. Isn't really noticeable, and it's not beefy enough to be like, oh wow, I really want to run this. It's kind of like if you have nothing else and you have 2 free slots, you're like, I guess I'll run this. You don't really need to, especially with Tyrant Surge, which does everything for you as long as you're on an Arc subclass. This mod isn't really that great. The same goes for Strength of Rasputin. Now, Strength of Rasputin, I also put as a B tier. And as I was going through the tier list and like going through all of this in my brain, I'm like, 50% of your melee energy isn't really that useful. Now, I'll show you from the example of a Warlock. Now, top tree Solar Warlock has, yes, you shoot off the rockets, and if you pick up a Warmind Cell, you get 50% of it back. But Warlocks have the passive where if you're in the air, all airborne kills give you energy towards your rockets. And it takes three airborne kills to put you at basically full for your rockets. So there's not really a point to killing 5 enemies to pick up a Warmind Cell so that you can get 50% of your melee energy back when you can just kill 3 and get it back anyway. So, and the same goes for Devour. Like, Devour doesn't get consumed until you actually eat something. And it's not really like... It doesn't matter. And if you're using... That same goes for mid tree and top tree. Of Warlock, Void Warlock as well. It's just not useful. Hunters... A lot of the Hunter classes have abilities to just regen their melees anyway. So Blessing isn't really gonna affect them. The only people it affects is Titan, so more Titan charges, I guess. But that's really about it. So Blessing, Strength, Blessing B. Strength is also B. Sheltering Light is also a B. Now I don't think I mentioned this before, but as I was doing the testing, the Overshield is nice. But as soon as the Overshield gets stripped, you lose the buff. It doesn't matter how much time you have on the buff. The minute it gets stripped, the buff goes away. So you're paying 5 mod slots, which are very valuable, which means you can't run double scavenger on something in PvE. You're running 5 you're choosing to use 5 of those slots just so that you can get a shield that lasts for 20 seconds. By the way, it's an overshield that actually lasts 15 seconds because it takes time to charge up. And if it gets stripped from any damage, you lose the buff immediately. So at 18 seconds, if you get like a smidget and get tagged, it's gone. The buff's gone. It's really bad. It's not that great. So now we're gonna move on to Void. So for Power of Rasputin, I really deliberated for this. I really thought about this a lot, and I'm giving it an S tier. Now I was gonna give it an A plus tier before, but like what really pushed it over the edge for me is solely the fact that you don't have to spawn your own Warmind cells to get the damage buff, plus the added effect that all damage buffs get modified, and all damage straight up gets modified to do more damage. It's so worth it. And you might think 10% isn't that much, but if you have 6 guardians that all have 10% plus you're standing in a well, which gives you 35%, you're looking at 45% extra damage off of one cell. One cell, only one person has to spawn it, and 6 people have 45% extra damage in a well. Or in a bubble, which I think the damage goes up with the cell 55% damage. It's it's disgusting. And it works on supers too. It works on supers too, man. I actually know it doesn't. It only works on weapon damage. So scratch that. It only works on weapon damage. But still, Izanagi's Whisper of the Worm, 10% extra damage with box breathing. You're going to be doing a lot of damage. And really fast. So anything that stands in your way is pretty much dead. And last but not least, Solar Wrath of Rasputin. I also put that as an S tier. Now, why I gave it an S tier is because just like its Solar Brethren, it's not really a flashy mod. Like, you throw it on and you're not going to get like an immediate effect from it. However, the efficiency cost for this mod is insane. It is actually insane. For one mod slot, for one solar mod slot, you get a chance to spawn a Warmind Cell off of every kill. Off every kill from a solar splash slam. So that means you kill 5 enemies with your 7th Seraph weapon, or you activate an arc ability and spawn one with Timed Surge, and you blow up a group of enemies. You have a chance to just spawn another one and keep chaining Warmind Cells. So you know what that means? You get against the boss like Pit of Heresy. You can do 30,000 damage solely from Warmind Cells because you have this mod equipped. You can clear out an entire room of enemies with a Warmind Cell and keep spawning more Warmind Cells and still get the super energy from it. You might not get as much super energy from the class item mod that if you have a specific weapon, it gives you more super energy. But overall, it is an excellent tool to use. And if you have a chance to use it with Rage of the Warmind, Burning Cells, and other stuff like that to buff up your damage, and including power of the Warmind Cell, it's such a good flex option. It fits in any build. You can literally use it on any build, and it'll be amazing. So that's where we're gonna end this video off here. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. The third and final part to the series will come out once the IO bunker unlocks and we finish that up. But definitely, like I said before, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you did not see the last one, definitely go check it out. It will be in the description as well as the outro for this video.